This meeting is being live streamed. Got it.
Got it.
Okay.
So where can we go to see it live streamed?
Just over here, caressing my breasts. Oh, there we go.
How do I see? Oh
my God, I'm just hearing. This meeting is being live streamed. Jesus fucking Christ.
All right, I'm on here. Can you hear me okay? Now, what's crazy is there's a delay. Brett, say something.
I mean, I can hear. I'm just like, we're in like a fucking time loop, and I'm trying to figure out how to get to. Oh my God. Okay, there. Moderation activity, show activity. Moderation helps everyone feel safe. Okay, cool. Close. Jesus, just show me. Oh my God, there. Okay.
We're good?
I have muted the live stream.
Yeah, I'm not even looking at it. I'm just looking over at the chat.
Jesus Christ.
You okay?
No, that was. Wait, is it still? Okay.
I can't tell. I'm not looking at it. I'm just talking with you right now.
Wait, no. Okay. It's because I have two windows open. That's why. Okay.
You son of a bitch.
There. Good. It was because I was hearing like us on a delayed loop, and it was very disconcerting. Okay, so now I guess I can like share this link now.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, let me
share it too.
Okay. Some live happening.
All right. I just shared the link on Facebook. Yep, that's that.
Okay, and tweet. Jesus Christ.
We're all you're going to edit all this out, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, this will all stay on, but then I don't know. Well, the version that goes up will not have all of the.
Well, officially, we've got 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
And quote tweet.
We are joined by Science,
Watch,
and Franklin.
And
Science is awake. Byron is asleep. Franklin is very asleep.
Okay, tweet. And Jesus Christ. That's that. And then I have my script open. You know what? There's just gonna be a lot of stuff.
That's the way we roll. That's the way it happens.
Man, there's so many screens I need to have open whenever we do this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Okay. Down. I guess I could. Lordy.
I should have gotten some sleepover snacks, but at the same time, if you're only listening to this on like Apple Podcasts or something, you'd be hearing me chewing, and that doesn't work. That doesn't work.
I don't know.
I do not have a straw this time. This time I have a cup from Cafe Du Monde.
What's that?
It's an institution in New Orleans where they sell beignets and coffee. The one in the French Quarter is very popular and it's open late. However, I got this cup at the one in City Park by the Art Museum, which was quite nice.
Ooh, okay.
So if you get to go to New Orleans, by all means, try beignets every place that sells them because they are unbelievable good. They are so good.
Get us a sponsorship. Okay. Let me put the link on. Okay.
Well, the last one we did at these was 11 o'clock, right?
No, it was earlier because
It was like 8 o'clock. It was 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
So people were awake.
haste.
Do people like go to sleep early on weekends? I don't have
I
kids.
mean, I do, but
Megan and I stay up until like 2 a.m.
oh no.
There's just so much life to live.
I get hit with the sleeps, and then I can't handle it.
I took off Thursday and Friday and just to put comic books away.
Oh,
I mean, and I had to help Megan with some stuff, but I I slept. I went to bed early on Thursday, which is weird because I'm by myself. I'm putting comic books away. I want to do all that stuff. I don't know.
I mean, okay. And watch this. You tell your story. Okay.
We'll start recording at mid. Well, we are recording now, but we'll start the official recording.
Ooh, and I'm gonna need to take some photographs.
Do you usually take the photographs, or does Seb?
Oh, I always take. He does nothing.
Oh,
he does nothing. Because, oh God, whatever.
Oh, Franklin.
Oh, let's see. Oh God. Oh fucking Siri. Jesus Christ. No. I know you don't know how to respond to that. I wish that I could just eradicate Siri from my life and just let Siri know I'm never going to use you.
I hate her. Although I used her to call somebody. I think I to call somebody in the car a couple days ago.
Jesus. Just the complicated life of a drag queen. Just Jesus fucking hell.
Well, it's midnight.
Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna
an hour.
Jesus Christ, whatever. Hi, let me get my script open. Ooh. And my boobs are up. How do I look?
Fantastic.
Okay.
Pink and blue.
Yeah. Okay.
And glow.
And
blue.
Because every natural ladies love sleeping in gloves. Okay. When I lean up like this, it's impossible for me to breathe. So let me. Okay. Hi.
Let's start over from the beginning.
Okay. So here we go. The Blob sucking up the Buick. It's time for Must Have Seen TV, the podcast dedicated to the sitcoms of the 20th century. From I Love Lucy to News Radio, I'm your TV guide, Barb Hardley. And I'm also a senior reporter producer for Decider.com. And say hello to the Tony to my Webster at this sleepover. Ethan K. Hello, Ethan.
Hello, Barb. Welcome to my home. Welcome to another room in my home. We're in the den because the air conditioning broke and it's the coolest room. But we're in sleepover.
Yeah, we're in this is my same room that I always record in, except I'm on the floor.
Ooh, because it's a sleepover.
It's a sleepover.
I am wearing some very nice green pajamas that I got for Christmas.
Yes, and I am wearing a oh my God, is this a camisole? It's like a blue satin. Oh my God, I really should understand my lingerie terms. But this then a feathery trimmed pink nightgown and my white gloves with pretty lace and a bow on them, and just a lot of jewelry because that's the kind of woman I am.
Because when you're dressed up to be seen in your night clothes, it's the very Marilyn Monroe thing to be wearing a ton of jewelry. So yeah, like this is, the only reason we're doing a sleepover episode is because I got this outfit a while ago, and I was like, well, I definitely need to I am wearing so much clothing to look like I am wearing nothing, which is
insane. But this is my like Ava Gabor.
Yep.
Because on Green Acres, she's just, this is what she sleeps in. So that's the vibe.
And we knew we were going to do something with sleepovers. We tried to find something for the 70s that had sleepovers, especially Green Acres, because of the Eva Gabor nighty. But there didn't seem to be any sleepover episodes on Green Acres.
Unfortunately, because if there's one man I want to sleep over with, it is Eddie Albert.
The Eddie Albert. We are streaming this live right now on YouTube, just in case people want to hang out with us at midnight on a Saturday. So far, no one has joined us, and that's to be fine. That's fine.
Now, I will say this is. I'll take this opportunity. We have a lot of subscribers on YouTube who are very quiet. And I don't understand. I don't know if there's like when you get a bunch of followers, I get a lot of sex robots follow me on Instagram a lot of the time, who don't understand that I am a homosexual man and I'm not interested in what they're offering. So I don't know if that's the same thing with YouTube. Like I get notifications. We got 2 new subscribers today. Are you people real?
We had 173 views for our Doris Day episode, which is literally exactly 100 more views than the previous episode.
So I don't know. I mean, Doris Day heads out there.
It's spring, and you know what that means? The bots are out. Tumblr has all the sex robots coming out.
If you're not a bot, please let us know.
Say hi.
But yeah, no, so we decided to do an 80s episode of Webster. I need to turn my brightness down. There we go. Ooh, get that soft lighting. But yeah, I mean, because who doesn't love a sleepover, right?
My gosh, so many great times in my life have been at sleepovers. And when you get to be an adult, you just don't have them.
No, I mean, you get married and then every night's a sleepover.
Yeah, with your.
I will say, I will say, I will every now and then be like, I want to go on an adventure, and that is code to Seb for we're going to sleep on the couch tonight. Both of us.
Since the air conditioning broke, there has been sleeping on the couch. Quite a bit of it, in fact. Right now, I have 3 cats enjoying the fan that is blowing at us. So hopefully you can edit the room noise out because there's a fan coming at me right now. And that's the only thing that's saving me in these long sleeve, full-legged pajamas.
I mean, also satin doesn't breathe, right?
Well, it actually feels really nice.
Okay.
It's kind of cool. Like around the joints, it's a little bit, stickier. But yeah. What are you going to do?
I mean, I am easy and breezy wearing my 2 layers of tights. Oh my God, now I have to get back up. We're fine. Hey-o.
You almost just saw the full sitcom right there.
But I know, like, I love, like, when I was a kid and you make a fort. I don't know. I guess we can actually talk about all that kind of stuff when we get to the parts of the episode. So
yeah,
why not?
It was kind of an atypical sleepover because I didn't have. I mean, yeah, we can talk about it.
Yeah. So this week we'll be traveling to December 5th, 1986. Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home ruled the box office, which that ties into something later. The Next Time I Fall by Peter Cetera and Amy Grant topped the charts, and ABC aired the Webster episode The Big Sleepover. Get it? Big Sleepover. Ethan, you must have seen The Big Sleepover before today.
No, because I did not like Webster when it was on.
I mean, Webster was one of those shows that, it just, you knew who Emmanuel Lewis was, but I never watched Webster. I was not aware. I was not a webhead.
I was aware of it like everybody was in the 80s in 1986 and on before and after, because it was just one of those like E.T. or Spider-Man. It was one of those like cultural things that everybody knew Webster. Everyone knew Emmanuel Lewis.
Yeah.
And the kids liked it because it's easy to relate to. And I remember watching episodes and just being like, even at like age 7, being like, this is not funny. Like, I'm not laughing at this. Is this played for laughs? Now, it's not necessarily family affair where people die and it's still a comedy, but I remember it being not as good as Different Strokes, which happened at the same time pretty much.
Which is like, here's diminutive, basically like young actors with like hormone. I mean, they
no one knows why. When I looked into it, no one knows why Emmanuel Lewis is 4 feet tall. Like biologically, doctors are like, there's no reason why you should not be taller. You're just not. And weirdly enough, Different Strokes and Webster were kind of like head to head for a while until they moved Different Strokes over to ABC, so they were on the same channel at the same night.
That's too much. Okay, my heels just keep kicking. My Golden Girls Funko Pops.
Just take
the heels. The heels can't come off.
The heels can't come off while you're recording?
They are straps, and they go around my ankle, and I almost give myself a Heimlich putting them on. Because when you have a corset on, the bending over isn't. I really make drag sound like a lot of fun. I'm living right now. Look at me, though.
It sounds like you're putting together a very complex yet attractive tent.
Yeah, I mean, look at me, though. I mean, I'm beautiful. How many men get to feel like this? I mean,
look, I'm feeling good just wearing pajamas.
Exactly. See,
all the time.
But yeah, no, I never watched Webster.
You never watched Webster?
I mean, it wasn't in reruns, and I don't know where it was being rerun.
After it ran 4 seasons, and then ABC, they had the option, if you have 100 episodes, the option to go to syndication. It didn't hit 100 episodes, but ABC was still like, no, we want to put it in syndication anyway. So the last 2 seasons of Webster were in syndication.
Okay, that's why. Okay.
Running at the same night as Different Strokes, which had a very, very similar premise. Webster's premise was a well-to-do white couple adopt a Black orphan child, whereas Different Strokes was a white widower adopts 2 Black orphans.
Okay, yeah. Jeez. Jeez, wild. Well, and so also Webster stars they're actually married, correct?
They were actually married, and which is the most interesting thing about this show is how it came to be. So Alex Karras, football player, Detroit Lions for 13 years.
Wow.
He was a defensive tackle.
And we'll just get this out of the way. Alex Karras is a sexually attractive man. I can't help it. There's just womanly urges that I have when I see just a big mustachioed hunk of a man. But I do believe that his character, George Papadopoulos, is a sad human being.
Yeah. So it's a weird story. So he met his wife, Susan Clark. They were on a TV show.
Who is not Susan Powder, although the hair is like. Also, Gen Z Susan Powder was like a fitness guru lady who had short, cropped buzz cut.
So the 2 of them meet. He's a football star, 13 years, although suspended for 1 year for gambling on football.
Work. Ooh, we love a troubled man.
But that was fine. And so I guess 12 years. She was an actor, did a lot of like TV movies and movies that are just not talked about anymore. There's no reason for them to just like forgettable, soft focus romances. So she meets Alex. They fall in love. They say, we want to go into business together. He's like, I want to get into showbiz. He was in Blazing Saddles. He was Mongo in Blazing Saddles. So he had some experience. And so they form a production company. What if I have the name of it? Oh, okay. So the two of them, they put together a show called Another Ball Game.
Oh
And Another
God.
Ball Game was he was a former baseball player and she was a socialite, and the two of them got married. And the whole show was supposed to be about the wacky things that happen with a newlywed couple, and they're from different sides of the tracks. He's, working class baseball kind of guy. And then Emmanuel Lewis happens. Emmanuel Lewis was a commercial actor. He did I think I have the number here. He just did a ton of commercials. Burger King was his big one. And so the producers, like different producers for ABC, are like, we need to get Emmanuel Lewis on a show right away. He is so hot. He's in so many.
Gotta strike.
But they're like, it's too late too late in the pitching process to come up with a totally new show for him. So we're just going to take an existing show that we really liked, Another Ball Game.
Oh my God.
We're going to shoehorn Emmanuel Lewis into it. So now this couple has adopted a child.
Wait, but so is Alex Karras, is George Papadopoulos a baseball player?
No, he's a football player, I believe, in the show. I think he's former football. So they changed the name of the show from Another Ball Game to Then Came You.
Ew.
Which is, it's also the name of the theme song to Webster. And Then Came You.
Which is the most generic theme song I've ever heard.
So Alex Karras and Susan Clark are like, no, we want to do this show about this married couple, which is us, which is our real life story. And so they would do episodes that are more focused on them and some more episodes that are focused on Webster. And there's like this conflict, and just a great example of everything working out for this bland TV show, they solved their differences. And they just had episodes that were more Emmanuel Lewis, and there were episodes that were more the two of them. And it lasted for a whole bunch of seasons.
6, I think
it was 6 seasons.
Yeah, God. Well,
yeah. And then they changed the name because they're like, oh no. This kid who stars in commercials, he's the gold mine. And he was. The show was very popular. The only reason it ended was because Emmanuel Lewis, he's like, I'm 17, I don't want to play a grade school kid anymore. No, I mean, that's a good job. He's
made the money.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess that means that this week on Must Have Seen TV, we'll be talking about the Webster episode, The Big Sleep Over. It is the 10th episode of season 4 and was written by Shelley Landau and Jane Gould and directed by Lee Bernhardt. Here's how Pluto describes the episode. George and Catherine are delighted when Webster makes a new friend and extends an invitation for a sleepover until they discover that Tony is a girl. Ethan, how accurate is that description?
I mean, it's not exciting. And put that up against anything else, I would not want to watch it. But that is exactly what happened.
That is okay. Well, here are my boobs. Sorry, I have to get resituated.
Ladies and gentlemen, please keep your seats.
Barbs. Okay, I'm just trying to get comfortable. I'm learning that sitting on the ground I thought it would let me be more relaxed, but that's not happening. We're fine. Let me get my notes open. Oh God. Okay. Yeah.
It was a hard episode to watch just because what happened with this show is that people would talk to each other, they'd have a conversation, and then they'd say something it was definitely a joke, and it was kind of incongruous. And then the laugh track would go, and everyone would just kind of like pause for a second as the laugh track went, but no one reacted to the funny lines. It was just kind of like,
well, and the laugh track just is going nonstop.
Yeah.
Like it's just so the episode opens with a cold open that has nothing to do with anything. It is Webster's wrapping a present. He wraps the present, and then he looks at what looks to be a toy cash register and just says, "You're supposed to be in there."
That's funny because I got a different Or maybe I didn't get the cold open.
So on Pluto TV, that's where that was, but on the YouTube that I found did not have a cold open.
I watched the one on YouTube. So you saw a little bit of bonus Webster.
Yeah, one line that had nothing to do with anything.
And you knew you were in for a rocky ride.
I was like, oh boy, here we go. So then the opening credits are bad.
The opening credits are to a song that could have, it's what Too Many Cooks was trying to make fun of.
Oh yeah.
It was just this very poppy, happy, generic, Then Came You, is just, ugh. It's like watching a yellow wall and being like,
yeah,
it's exciting. No, it's not.
It's weird to think that this show, because let's be honest, Susan Powter and Ron Swanson are not as charismatic as Susan Powter and Ron Swanson.
I don't
understand how the two of them, how they sold the show just on their merits.
Because he's not much of an actor. She's a pretty good actor. But I mean, also the material's terrible. Let's face that too.
Yeah, so it's just a weird, very strange.
Yeah. So when I started it after the opening, where it's them just kind of goofing around with Emmanuel Lewis, it's so immemorable that I didn't write anything down other than opening there, Then Came You, and then that's all I wrote because it's boring.
And there it is. That's it.
So we get into it. They have a house on Gold Coast of Chicago. They moved around a little bit. They were in a basement. They were in an apartment, and then in the second season, Webster burned it down, so they had to move to a.
Webster burned their house down.
It was very, very poignant episode, very special episode about fire safety because Webster is playing with a chemistry set and he sets the apartment on fire.
Jeez. And I thought Stephanie driving a car through the kitchen was bad.
Both are bad. Both are bad, Barb. So they're in this house. Their breakfast is being made. And they're wondering why the breakfast is sticking to the roofs of their mouths. So Webster can't talk very well.
And it's because what's her name? Christine Alexandria?
I don't know.
Samantha.
I just called her. I just wrote down ma'am because she was called ma'am by Webster through the entire thing.
Well, ma'am, she put peanut butter in the oatmeal, and this is treated as just like an ew, and sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think this whole joke is that she's a bad chef.
Because she put peanut butter in oatmeal, and I don't know. I feel like I have definitely done weirder stuff.
You pay money to get oatmeal to get peanut butter and oatmeal.
Yeah,
I can't believe I flubbed that line.
Well, and she also says that she's home. She's going to be home early or something because she had to cancel a counseling appointment because her afternoon patient, one of his fathers, is getting out of prison.
And having a party, yeah.
And having a party. Well, and then I didn't understand what it's a hat on a hat. At first I thought it was I thought they were going to be making fun because one of his dads, is having a part, oh, he's got two dads. That's why he's in therapy, but they
didn't go for that.
They don't go for that. They go for is getting out of prison. And so now I'm like, I couldn't parse
multiple stepfathers. I think that's
I didn't know if it was like a stepfather. Is okay, whatever. So and that also amounts to nothing. So I don't know why that.
Yeah. George Papadopoulos does say a milestone in anyone's life, which is cool. Webster doesn't want to go to school, so he offers to do some chores.
He's like, I'll shampoo the rug. It's also when are we doing that again today? And he's like, yeah, Monday through Friday, kind of a new concept. And it's like, I don't know. This is season 4. Are we?
It's season 4. No one can
doing that.
No one can deliver the lines. The lines aren't good. I mean, it's
Emmanuel Lewis.
you know.
Emmanuel Lewis is the only one acting in this show. I feel bad about dragging these two old people.
Well, you know, the first time that I ever saw, the first time that Emmanuel Lewis did like a larger acting thing, he got to do Shakespeare in the Park, Midsummer Night's Dream with Kevin Conroy and Christine Baranski. And Ricky Jay. If you can find it, it's kind of hard to find, but I did watch it last year and I really enjoyed it.
What year is that?
84.
Okay.
But yeah, R.I.P. Kevin Conroy.
Oh yeah.
R.I.P. Ricky Jay.
Look out. Wait, who else did you say was in that? I'm just like knocking over literally everything behind me. Drag, baby.
Could you have not done this on the floor?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, so he says he hates fifth grade because
he hates it worse than broccoli.
He hates it worse than broccoli, which is 10 times worse than zucchini, which both of them are fine. They're good. This is that weird in the 80s. It's like green vegetables. We're like, we hate you. You know, Big Green Vegetable was really trying to work that marketing, trying to get over this hurdle with children. But now I like all of it.
That's where we get beets are nature's candy, and that's why we have Brussels sprouts have changed their hybridization and they taste better.
Yeah,
so
they're
thank
great.
80s that changed things.
He also calls his teacher Ms. Terminator.
Yeah.
And all of his best friends are in another class. He's hit like the horrible. There's like everything that could go wrong for little Webster is going wrong.
He's having a bad fifth grade.
Yeah. Which, my fifth grade was awful. My entire elementary school existence was horrible because all the kids made fun of me.
Aw.
And look what it did to me.
Well, that's just something else that I can blame on Tennessee.
Yeah.
Made you feel unhappy.
Boo, and now I'm gorgeous. Well, and so then they try to relate to Webster, and ma'am is just like, she's talking about her boarding school in France, and like
because they're having like, oh, we had a hard time making friends too, and she keeps going off on these rants about like how rich she was, and just
we all spoke the universal language of shopping. Women be shopping, I know.
Yeah, if you're listening to this podcast and you are crying with laughter, turn it off because I don't know what you're listening to. You're hearing something like that. There's just only so many times you can say these jokes are stale.
Yeah,
they're not good.
And then so this is where, like, I mean, I just want to give George a hug. I just want to be like, just come here, and I just want to wrap my arms around that big barrel chest of his, and just let him put his nice huge head on my shoulder,
his mustache,
just tickle it against my neck. Be great because he's weirdly attractive to this woman.
He also has like he just keeps on hinting at these very sad backstories of
he's talking about like, well, I had a best friend named Wally, right? It was like, when I was a child growing up on the farm, I had a best friend named Wally, and I ate him. He was a duck. It's like, oh my God. I wrote down get Child Protective Services. Well, and then he's like, no, you do go in tomorrow, sitting down next to someone, tell him a joke. And he was like, okay, well, tell me a joke. And then he's like, oh, well, last night she told me a joke about 3 little maids. And his wife has to be like, no, we're not gonna, well, you know.
It's a dirty joke. And George Papadopoulos is also played as a stupid person who doesn't know the difference between the two.
It's also, we get a lot of interesting insights into their bedroom life in this episode, and
it also feels like a first draft.
Yeah, they're painting an interesting picture for this couple. So, well, man, there's also a lot of stuff that starts but goes nowhere. So, like the next scene, it's like the next day, and George Papadopoulos is doing what every good house husband should do, and he's over there, he's folding the laundry. He's a man who pitches in. We love that. We would love to domesticate Mr. Papadopoulos.
Says,
Which
don't tell Papa that I did this.
yeah, don't tell Papa Papadopoulos that I'm doing chores because men don't do chores.
And Papa Papadopoulos never did chores. He never cooked a meal in his life, never washed his sock.
Well, that sounds a lot like my mom, is what ma'am says. and then I thought, like, oh, okay, is this gonna become like a B plot or something? Absolutely not.
There is no B plot.
This is just some business for them to attend to, very oddly.
Barb, was this a kid's show?
I mean, this episode was clearly more about the adults.
Yeah, I can't shake the feeling that we watched a kid's show.
So then Webster comes in and he says, like, he told the joke to one kid and milk came out his nose.
Not the maid joke. He didn't hear the maid joke. He just knew another joke. To be clear, he did not tell a dirty joke to his prospective friends.
Which, I mean, that would have made him friends.
Oh yeah, it would also got to get him, a reputation.
Mm-hmm.
He probably didn't want.
Well, then people coming for more jokes. He's got to make up dirty jokes on his own, and Lord knows
the raciness. He's got to go bluer. He's got to go bluer, and next thing you know, he's
the aristocrats. No, but he would tell the Aristocats. The Aristocats.
George, ma'am, I heard a great joke. It's called the Aristocrats. Oh, that's interesting, Webster. How does it go? 10 minutes later, the show is canceled.
Yeah. Well, now it's moved to HBO. That's so pioneering. So, but he did tell the joke to his friend Tony, who helped him out with science because his worm got away, and Tony lent Webster a worm or something.
That's which is, what's messed up? That's exactly what happened, and that's exactly how it was presented. And all the only reaction was George saying, "Oh, gives you the worm off his back."
Yeah, because it's a friend. It gives you the worm right off his back. And then Webster's like, we got all the same things in common. We love baseball, kung fu movies, and ketchup on banana bread.
Which is, it's like saying, I like fun thing, bizarre alien thing.
I don't know. Maybe Webster is really funny, honestly. Like saying the jokes back at this hour, I'm kind of like, this is funny.
I don't
know.
I don't. It's okay. Yes, it is funnier when the two of us are saying it.
Yeah, when the two of us are saying it late at night.
Not as much when it is on video, shot with bad lighting. So, I also remember that he's wearing Eddie Murphy's jacket from the Raw special.
Yeah, it's a red leather jacket.
I don't know why.
Man, yeah. Well, I mean, so wait, how old is Emmanuel Lewis in this episode? Is he like 15 or something? He's like, this is my jacket.
I believe he was born in 71.
So he's like 15. This is 86.
Yeah.
Oh God. So he does say, like, okay, I'm gonna go over and like, is he going to like meet Tony at like the gas station to look at comic books or something?
I think there was a shop that someone owned. He said, can you take me down to the shop to look at at the latest comic books?
George Papadopoulos says, oh, while you're there, can you check and see if She-Ra ever gets released from the four-headed lizard? What is going on? What are we doing here?
I did a little bit of background research to see if She-Ra had a comic in 1986. She had a magazine, and she had mini comics that came with the action figures. So unless they were talking about the glossy magazines that had, games and puzzles, then this was obviously someone who did not know what She-Ra was, other than their kids talked about it once or twice. Yeah,
again, in a second draft, you would have him say something like, oh, while you're there, can you see if Spider-Man got a new girlfriend after that one that I like got her neck snapped? But maybe not that, but you would have him say, because the implication is, when I was a kid and used to go to the comic store, this is what I was reading about. So I'm going to make a joke asking you to see if that story's still going on or whatever.
I looked at it differently. I saw it as George reads comics regularly. He's asking for a preview of an issue he's about to buy.
Okay. Oh God. Well, and then is Webster's like, I want to ask Tony over for a sleepover, and ma'am says, like, that's okay. Yeah, no, we can do that tonight. I can cancel the interview with Robin Leach.
Yeah. Do you remember the show Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous?
So you know, when we were kids, if you wanted to show someone being wealthy, like if you wanted to signify this person is dangerously rich and should definitely be paying more taxes, you would have Robin Leach, this I don't like plain looking doofy kind of pear-shaped British guy who would come over and he would talk like this, like, and that's it.
Today we're going to meet the wonderful Linda Carter, and whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of like MTV Cribs, which is another
MTV Cribs,
which is also a dated reference. Jesus, it's kind of like a TikTok where influencers show off their houses or something.
Welcome to my home.
She wasn't serious. I mean, I think they've established that these two were jokers. These adults are jokers. They telling jokes.
He is such a wag. She is such a card.
Ooh, the fun they have. And so now Webster's preparing. They're preparing for the sleepover. Tony is about to come over. He's made a bedroom, a fort, which ma'am walks in and doesn't understand the sight of seeing sheets draped from a thing to covering, and it's her satin sheets, and
that's not what she did in France.
Now so that's a thing that I definitely did. I do remember, like, one night I made a fort behind my dad's, no, it wasn't my dad's recliner, it was another recliner, and I made got like an Afghan or whatever blanket, and you tuck it in to the chair, to the footstool or whatever. And then I begged my parents to let me sleep in there overnight. And I read fudge books.
Super fudge.
I read some fudge books. There might have been a flashlight. It was cool, man.
You did what everyone should do. And I never did that. I never did the because my parents never told me to go to sleep. They wanted me to read. So they bought the lamp for the side of my bed, and the rule was I could go to bed. I had to go to bed at 8:30, but I could read for like a half hour, maybe a little bit longer. And so my parents got me a white, I think it might have even been a tablecloth, but it was a blanket. And they said, this is really sweet. They said, you can use some markers to write down the name of every book that you read under this blanket on the blanket.
Oh,
and after years, I did that. It was really sweet. It wasn't a sleepover kind of thing. It was just how I read books. I'd read books and I'd write the name of the book on the blanket.
In first grade, which is so early 1991, when I inherited oh my God, my gloves are just falling apart. Whatever. The guy that my sister was dating gave me all of his Star Wars Marvel comics from the late 70s. And so what I would do is I would wait until, I thought like the coast was clear, and then I would get those comics and I would go to the foot of my bed where the nightlight was, and then I would read the like Marvel adaptation of Star Wars by the nightlight.
Which so is I have glasses.
I have very distinct memories of seeing that weird furry Jabba the Hutt alien illuminated by a nightlight. But yeah, no, Webster's doing this. Ma'am walks in and she's like, here's your smoked oysters and brie.
It was played for a laugh, although it just seems cruel.
Well, and I think that she was serious. I think she was actually like, this is what we had at my slumber parties.
Yeah.
And then George tells another story about a good sleepover he had where his dad yelled at him all night, and him and his friend jumped on their bed so high that they hit their heads on the ceiling. And he's like, that was great.
It makes me think that George Papadopoulos had a very, very bad home life at the farm.
I know. I just want to hold him and tell him it's going to be okay. He can accept who he is as a gay man. Well, no, as a heterosexual man who's in love with this woman. I don't know.
He unfortunately passed away in 2012.
Oh, I'm never gonna have sex with Alex Karras.
Write that on your tombstone.
Not gonna happen. And then the mom tells like, at our slumber parties, we untucked all the hospital corners and then did other lame stuff.
Like they switched pajamas and
right.
What was the other one? There was something just as lame. We switched pajamas and I don't know, oppressed the bourgeoisie.
Yeah. And then
oppressed the proletariat.
And then Tony comes over.
Tony.
Knock, knock, knock. Tony's here, and Tony is a tomboy. And
Tony is played by Karen Ward, an actor who is still working today.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
What's she doing?
A lot of TV stuff.
Good for her.
Runs on a couple of shows, which is cool.
He's like the second best actor in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I don't know what Emmanuel Lewis is doing, but I can go to IMDb and see that Karen Ward has a lot of credits to her name.
Good for her.
Yeah.
So then George is like, I've heard a lot about you. Not enough, when he realizes that Tony is a girl. And then so this is, let's say, the they go upstairs, and now we get into this whole thing where Ma'am and George are George is like, I know it's the 80s and we don't call women chicks, but we don't let boys and girls sleep together. The whole vibe is very relevant to right now in politics, because these two adult heterosexual couple are somehow convinced that these children are going to fuck. Their entire thing is, well, clearly are they in third grade? No, they're in fifth grade. Clearly the fifth graders they're gonna be doing. They're and it's why are there this is where I don't, this is this is the face of a boy who was raised with people kissing, with straight couples kissing literally everywhere, with adults asking me about all my girlfriends and asking me if I gotten any kisses or whatever, adults taunting me about do you want a Barbie? It's all sorts of gender normative bullshit. And look at me now.
Right.
It is so wild that we sexualize children all the fucking time, if the sexualization is straight.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at these characters. Just thinking about the actors knew what they were doing. The actors knew, you have these adult actors, these writers who are this is the situation we're going to put these characters in. No, I think it's very telling that that's where their minds went, that's what the whole point of this episode is about.
Yeah. Well, and he's what's interesting is they do actually kind of get into this and get into because Ma'am, what the fuck is her name? I feel bad.
Christine
Catherine. Her name is Catherine. So Catherine actually brings up the fact that she's Webster's he's only 10. He's not gonna do anything.
There's a latency period.
That's also wild. There's a latency period. They haven't bloomed yet. And it's we're talking about Webster blooming. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, an unfunny episode just became uncomfortable.
Well, but then George Papadopoulos is Webster's a man now. And it's no, he's not.
I wrote that Webster's a man now. There were two good lines. I will give them two good lines.
Oh, one is coming up. I like the
one of them was they welcome Tony in, try not to be awkward about it. Ma'am says, "Oh, we've heard so much about you." And George goes, "Not enough."
Yeah, that was good.
That was good. It's also interesting that, this is the mid 80s. Webster's been talking about Tony for days and has not used a gendered pronoun the entire time.
Webster's open-minded.
Yeah.
Well, and so then I love so also one of the initial questions I had was like, where does Tony's mother think that she is? And that is the next beat of this conversation. And Catherine and George are like, so does your mother know you're staying overnight? And she says yes. And then without missing a beat, George says, can you prove it?
Which I thought
was funny. Line. That was a funny line as well.
Those lines were good in George's uncomfortableness.
Well, and then Catherine is like, yes, Tony's mother knows. I spent all night talking on the phone. Wait, so also Catherine had talked to Tony's mother on the phone earlier that day, and Tony's mother even Tony might be non-binary and out about it, and everyone else is like understands what this is and is cool about it, and George is just freaking the fuck out, because it is wild that both Webster and Tony's mother managed to talk about Tony without using gendered pronouns.
And the only reason that it's weird is because it's 1986 and people did not choose their own pronouns on primetime television for children.
Well, and so then what George says something like, well, to Catherine, like, oh, you talked to the mother. Did you find out if XYZ? And then Catherine responds, yeah, just after I found out whether or not Tony was a communist or something. Like, I'm like, it was a joke of like, whatever. And then there's also so then like Tony's like, yeah, my mom was cool with this. My mom's a teacher. And they're like, oh, this is great. She's a teacher. Yeah, she teaches anatomy. And it's like, that's a weird specific.
It's a weird thing for someone to bring up in conversation. I suppose anatomy is a subject that was taught in schools. I mean, for us, it was part of the whole biology.
Like biology.
Yeah.
Well, it also, so like, it's a weird, you're trying to figure out like the intent of the writer and stuff. And it is weird. Like her mother teaching anatomy is like, oh, well, that's trying to make the audience think, oh, they might do it. These 10-year-olds might talk about body parts. Like,
I did not think of that at all.
Just weird.
Horrible.
Well, and so then Catherine again has a good point where they've gone upstairs, and I think like George is like, we need to talk to them. And Catherine's like, why are we going to put something in their heads that isn't in their heads? Yep. Like that will create the problem that we are trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Just smart and true.
And that's what they end up doing.
He calls her a Jezebel, though.
Yeah, Tony's a Jezebel. Like,
it's wild.
That's ultra sexualizing a 10-year-old.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
The show got weird. I already didn't like Webster, and now I really don't like Webster.
I'm trying. Okay, now here comes the prerequisite. Gotta shift. Oh God. Hi.
Get some circulation back in his legs.
Well, and also just gotta. So here's the fun of being a drag queen. I gotta lift my bra and my boobs back up. We're fine. We're fine. Hi. It's a nice. It's lovely colors. A nice sheen.
I'd like to thank everyone who didn't show up on the live YouTube. We've had no one join us, which is fine.
we had 3 views for a little while.
You did?
Yeah, we had 2 other. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
I missed those. So George suggests they play Monopoly.
He's like, let's just try and distract them until they're ready to go to bed, and then they're like, wisely, peace out. We're not playing Monopoly. we cut to them. They're jumping on the bed. They're doing fun kid shit. They're jumping on the bed. They're trying to hit their heads on the ceiling,
like George did.
Yeah, and then they start talking about Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek 2. They had just seen putting that thing in Chekhov's ear, which is Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan.
Oh, Oh, Bethany.
Hi, Bethany. One of my favorite people. Suppy.
Yeah. Okay.
Star Trek
Ah,
2.
they were talking about Star Trek 2. Oh, when Chekhov gets that worm in his ear or whatever.
Yeah, they put the worm in here.
And then Webster's like, or she's like, did you see the monster that slimed New York? And Webster's like, George doesn't let me watch anything where the monsters look like mucus. Now, okay, so comedy writing 101 from a former comedy writer. Specifics are funny. You want to get specifics. You know, saying a proper noun as opposed to just like a generic is always going to be funnier. Except in this case. I don't like this.
I will also lay part of that blame on the delivery.
Oh wow, we're dragging her.
I did not think that Emmanuel Lewis delivered the line very well. He was kind of hesitant about the whole thing. But the Star Trek is important because you did mention this at the top of the show, that for some reason Webster didn't have a big tearful final episode. They instead had a dream episode where Webster goes on the bridge of the Starship Enterprise and talks with Worf, the Klingon, about his life, and they show clips from the previous seasons, and then he wakes up and it's all a dream, but then his video game is repaired and it says Starship Enterprise on it. He's like, oh, is it really a dream? And that's how this series ended.
I see. I need to watch that episode
with a clips episode
right now with Worf. More shows should. It'd be really great if Worf had a side gig of like, I also am here to kill TV shows. Like he's the person who just ends them. It's like, you want your show to end? Come to the bridge.
Just stop by, you son of a
Get in the bridge.
It's like, that would be pretty amazing. Just like a second career. It's just like everybody, or even better, you do a show where every show that never got to wrap up like really well gets to bring like all the cast back and the sets back, and they get to do their final episode, and in the end Worf appears, he opens a door and there's light coming through the door and the entire cast just steps through, and that's it. It's done.
That's good. Where everything's a holodeck.
Michael Dorn some work. Who's it hurting?
He's on Picard now.
He is.
So
I didn't ask you, what are you watching these days?
Oh, I forgot. So while I was getting into drag today, I did watch the first 6 episodes of Beef on Netflix.
You know what? We started watching it too. We watched the first 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good.
So, yeah. So
it's pretty serious.
Yeah, that's all I've watched. What did I do?
I watched more Deadwood.
Okay.
Which is good. It's something, and does it count as like a TV show if you're watching a movie that's 3 hours long and you break it up into half-hour chunks?
Yeah.
It's like a TV show.
It's G.I. Joe the movie style, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
Every day.
I've been watching an Indian film called Shan, which is the follow-up to Sippy's follow-up to Sholay, which is considered the best Indian action film, best Indian film ever made. Shan is not, but it does have a crocodile fight, and the crocodile is never not hungry. So
nice.
It's kind of like this. It's like this weird smuggling operation that is killing a lot of people, kind of like a James Bond thing. But also there are these brothers, and the brothers are frauds, and they're con men. And then, oh, by the way, yeah, this is all in. I'm not even done with the movie yet. These things all come together weirdly enough. What I'm saying is, it's got Amitabh Bachchan, who I have a poster of on the wall back here, in his film Dawn, which is not my favorite Amitabh Bachchan film, but it's a great poster. But anyway, let's get back to silliness.
No, we cut back to George and Catherine's bedroom, and George is wearing these lovely, like, broad stripe blue and white pajamas, very handsome. He is, of course, worried about the 10-year-olds having sex, so that's not cool. He does say that, like, well, like when I was like, my parents got married at 8 and had babies at 9. It's like, what are we doing? So this is where I will say that George says, like, well, when I was 8, I was interested in girls when I was 8. And that got me to thinking, and I was like, that's 8. Absolutely not. That's 3rd grade. And then I remembered, oh, Jurassic Park came out when I was 8 in 3rd grade. Sam Neill. Yes. Okay.
You
I
felt
understand
that way
it.
about certain stuff.
I understood it.
Look, I will admit that my first sexual awakening was watching Thundercats, which is weird to admit.
No, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
Mine was to Sam Neill, the paleontologist that hates children in Jurassic Park. And I was like, I like looking at this adult 40-something man. And I saw Jungle Book, and I was like, yes, here he is again. And I wanted to see Event Horizon, and I didn't because it was rated R. This was like a couple years later, but like I knew who Sam Neill was, and I was like, I like looking at this man. And now here we are. Oh, here we are, and right within arm's reach is the book.
His autobiography.
His memoir that I'm reading. I love him. He is means a lot to me. And
I know,
anyway,
I know we always do what are you watching, but maybe we should do what are you reading, because that's important, and literacy is fundamental, and we need to be encouraging it because libraries are under attack.
Oh God. Yeah.
Also, right about now was when I wrote in my notes, the show falls apart, because Webster really did fall apart once they've established that Tony is a girl.
Yeah. So like they're okay, so God. Basically, they're cuddling in bed, and Catherine's like, we should trust Webster. He wouldn't do anything we wouldn't do. And since the two of them would clearly bone, they gotta go check on Webster. And they're playing Scrabble. And what is the conversation that George and Catherine overhear from the hallway? Oh, I wrote it down.
Oh, horrible person.
Boy, Webster, I've never seen that before. You're really good at this. Just comes naturally, I guess. My turn. Wait till you see what I've got. Jesus Christ is what I then wrote down.
Why did you say Jesus Christ? There's obviously no God.
Yeah, there's and again, and so then they bust in, and nope, they're playing Scrabble.
A game just this side of less frustrating than Monopoly.
Yeah, and just like, they were talking about, we shouldn't talk to them and put this idea in their heads. I damn these writers for putting that into our heads. For putting that scene into our heads as viewers. There is a trust that we enter into, audience to viewer, or audience to writer, and they just were like, we're gonna twist that knife. You're gonna think about Webster. I can't talk about it.
No, it was a bad choice on everybody's part. It was a bad choice on everybody's part. Let's just. And I was the one that suggested this episode, because I'm like, oh, here's a sleepover episode. We're going to do a sleepover.
When I was like,
cast.
I bought some sexy lingerie. We should do a sleepover episode. So it's also like, I'm a weirdo, where it's the layers of mistakes. We've all made a lot of mistakes that have led us to this moment.
Did you have you ever done a Webster episode on the podcast before?
No. And there are John Astin ones. There's multiple John Astin ones.
Well, there's also Corin Nemec, if you remember him from Parker Lewis Can't Lose. As I think one of their nephews, and he stuck around for the entire 5th season as like a cousin Oliver kind of thing, and then they booted him for season 6.
Good, get out while you can. So then after that, we then get the two kids talking, and they're like, Tony's like, your parents are weird. And he's like, I know. And then they're both like, kissing is gross. Why do people kiss in movies? That's when you go get popcorn or what. And it's very, and then also Tony's like, I don't even like boys. Like, I might not even like boys. I don't even think of you as a boy. I think of you as a Webster or whatever. And then Webster's like, I see you as my best friend. So
it made me feel good in the sea of feeling bad.
And the adults are drinking cocoa overnight and watching a blob eat.
They're watching the same Blob movie, The Monster That Slimed Chicago.
Yeah.
Like, they can't go to sleep while they can't even go into their own bedroom. They sleep on the cat. They fall asleep on the couch.
Well, and she says, God, so when they wake up the next morning, she says something like she's got button marks down her back. Yeah, I have sofa button marks up and down my back, which is just weird visual. So yeah, like they're sleeping. The kids wake up. It's 5 a.m. They're like, it's too early. There's a lot of
vampires for some reason.
They pretend to be vampires because they're like, what if there are vampires downstairs? They see that the parents are like asleep, and they then put their vampire cloak blankets over them. And then he's like, do we wake them? Well, then they'll make us breakfast. And Webster's like, she puts peanut butter in oatmeal. Ew. And then I wrote interminable.
So you wrote that. I wrote show falls apart here.
God, it's peanut butter and oatmeal sounds good. And then did
you get the Webster will be right back?
No.
But then it does the Emmanuel Lewis laugh.
Fuck that. Absolutely not. I'm glad I didn't get that.
It was weird.
Well, then like the next morning, it's I didn't understand. So they're eating. The wife is like, did it make you want to be young again? And he said, whisper in my ear and I'll tell you. Like, and then she does that. Basically, it's a setup so that the kids can be like, ew, affection between people over 40. And that's the end of the episode.
It ended. I was very happy when it ended.
Oh my God.
It didn't scar me like Family Affair did, but it was not a good show. Not a good show. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, maybe, well, the John Aston episodes are great. He's Uncle Charles. Oh, let's get into some must-have facts as I
set me up.
Take off clothes.
Must have seen TV.
After dark. That's what this is. Oh goodness.
Too hot for must have seen TV.
Where am I going? Okay. So this episode of Webster was rated number 49 for the week. And 11.3 million people endured this.
That's a lot. That's a lot of millions of people.
But 49 for the week. Webster was not a huge hit.
No, I think the first 3 seasons did pretty well. But they also realized that they were losing their adult audience very quickly.
I wonder why.
the juvenile youth audience was much more involved.
So then the top 5 shows of the week were number 5, Murder, She Wrote, number 4, Night Court, number 3, Cheers, 2, Family Ties, and 1, Cosby Show.
Gunsmoke.
Number 1, Gunsmoke, 2, 60 Minutes. It's just, the way it goes. The CBS Friday lineup that this aired as part of was opening with Webster. Then we're getting some Mr. Belvedere. Then we're getting a show called Dads, which lasted 9 episodes, starring Barry Bostwick and some other guy as 2 divorced dads or widowed dads living together with their kids in Philadelphia. So it's Kate and Allie, gender swapped.
In Philadelphia.
And then after that was another show that only lasted 9 episodes, Gung Ho, which was based on the movie Gung Ho, which was about a so the show starts Scott Bakula and Getty Watanabe as Scott Bakula played like a Philadelphia car executive, and they were, I think, bought by a Japanese company, and so the whole thing is like Japanese versus America and car stuff. And then after that was the TV continuation of Starman, set 15 years after the movie. So that's your ABC Friday night lineup. What a weird, bizarre night of television.
Please tell me what else was airing at this time.
So, what are you watching? It is December 5th or 6th. On ABC, Webster's house guest turns out to be a girl. On CBS, they're airing Scarecrow and Mrs. King. A reporter who suspects his newspaper of planting phony stories asks Lee for help. And on NBC, we've got Smurfs Christmas. An evil stranger threatens to ruin Christmas for the Smurfs when he endangers the lives of 2 children who are lost in the forest. What are you watching?
Oh, Smurfs. Come on. Hands down. I didn't even like the Smurfs, but I'll watch them.
Yeah, Smurfs Christmas.
I was 6 years old. Man, I thought the Smurfs were badass.
Yeah. Smurfing. Just smurfing good time. And then on IMDb, this episode has no score.
Yep.
This is the first in Must Have Seen TV, 131 episodes. I don't think we've ever had an episode that has no rating. No one has voted for anything.
Webster's, I guess, one of those like cultural artifacts that just it didn't etch itself into people's minds the way that, you know, Bill Silvers did.
It didn't get, it was never a Nick at Night show. I don't even know if it was a TV Land show ever. And it just now started streaming. It is on Pluto. So like the kids haven't rediscovered Webster, and you know what? Maybe they won't.
I think kids have better standards now.
Yeah. Who had the must-see performance in this episode?
I'll say Tony.
Yeah.
Tony. I know you're going to say George.
No, he was horrible as an actor, but I would say that mustache. He's dumb looking. Like, so on a scale of 1 to 10, he's probably like a 6 or a 7 for me. I mean, but like the physique is great. I'm like the big beefy. Also, the way he was wearing those like button-down shirts and the ties. It's just like, oh, handsome man.
He played big and dumb. And he, you know, with his wife, they produced other shows, they produced other movies, they produced Porky's. They were both in Porky's.
What the fuck? What? Who is this couple? It's also like neither of them were good enough or charismatic enough performers to justify having a show built around them. It is wild. It's a weird show, man.
The network rushed to give them a slot and to produce their another ball game.
Maybe he was a very famous football player.
13 years.
Okay, well, that'll do it. Must other people see this episode of television?
No, do something else with your life. Read a book.
Read anything.
Go outside.
Well,
like
touch grass.
Touch grass. Did you know that the United States has an amazing national park system, and that you can get a passport and stamps for everyone that you visit?
Support your local mall.
Did you know that Grant's Tomb is open for free?
Wow.
There's so much you can do in this world.
And not any of them involve hearing Webster say like the words, "Let me show you mine," or whatever.
I want to thank everyone who did show up in the chat, that we do have people watching. And someone did ask, were there only 4 actors total in that episode? Yes, there were 4 actors total for the episode.
And like no new sets. This was very much we are saving the money because we're going to be doing an on location episode later, probably. Or paying John Astin that money to come play Uncle Charles.
I remember one of the episodes I did watch was they did go on a game show, and the
Okay.
show was called Don't Jump. Go to a second location.
That's also what they tell the audience. Don't jump. We'll roll the credits. It's over.
You don't have to listen to the theme song again.
Well, I mean, I guess that does it. Ethan, where can people find you after dark?
I'll be asleep or watching anime. Here in my spacious den. No, I'm on Instagram at EthanK55, and I have an awful Tumblr, which is an awful place to be, and I love it so much, but I can't tell you what that is.
Ooh. And y'all can follow me on Instagram at Barb Hardly. And you can also watch my new drag talk show, Stop Dragging Your Heels, Barb Hardly's Instagram, because now I need to get into drag twice a week for 2 different things. Let me just say, Barb's days on Must Have Seen TV may be numbered, because I don't know if I can keep that up twice a week. We'll see.
It was a cute gimmick, but you know what? No, I want you to stay Barb as long as you can.
I'm running out of outfits.
Oh
no, I'm not. I keep buying things.
It can be the gym shooter thing that every podcast and video can be someone's first podcast and video.
It's true.
And not have seen anything else.
But
Shout
yeah,
out to
please.
Shooter, former editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics.
He's so tall and I'm so short. Although these heels are like 5 inches, so 4.
I didn't realize he was so tall.
Oh, he was very tall. He was like freakishly tall.
I mean, he's still alive.
I better not speak ill of the living.
I have he's signing a foil cover of Secret Wars #8 to get CGC'd.
Oh, hell yeah. But yeah, please watch Stop Dragging Your Heels at Barb Hardly's YouTube. And please rate and review the show in iTunes. Please email. Please subscribe on YouTube, where you can watch this, and maybe we'll do more live events at some point. Who knows?
Probably earlier in the evening. This is midnight. Actually, it's 1 o'clock. So
hell yeah, 1:10, baby.
Go to bed, Barb. Go to bed. See you later.
Going to retreat. Oh, damn.
Oh.
Now I just like, okay. And I mean, I guess that's it. I mean, have I said thanks to Acast for hosting the podcast and everything. And I mean, I guess that's everything, baby.
That's everything, baby.
Hey.
Take care, everyone.
Bye. Okay, wait, hold on. How do I stop things? Do I just hit stop?